Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking one of the most thrilling, absolute pressure cooker narratives in modern sports. We're diving deep into the journey of Neymar Jr., taking you from the dizzying heights of European dominance straight down into the suffocating depths of an impossible deficit, all culminating in a transaction that literally changed the global sports landscape forever. Let's get into it. Is this the greatest Champions League knockout comeback of all time? Just listen to that. That kind of explosive commentary really establishes the absolute life or death stakes of the environment we're about to explore. We aren't just talking about regular weekend matches here. We are talking about those rare moments where the entire world is watching. Moments where careers are defined in fractions of a second, and where players are forced to either orchestrate the impossible or face complete humiliation on a massive global stage. All right, Section 1. The Apex Predators, entering the MSN era. So, picture this. Liverpool just dropped the monumental news that they sold Luis Suarez to the Catalan club, and suddenly, a terrifyingly talented, truly legendary front line is formed. The organization realized that relying entirely on the magic of Lionel Messi was just way too heavy a burden. But by integrating Neymar's sheer, electric talent into the team, they created this devastating balance. If one wasn't operating at 100%, the other absolutely would be. And then, you add Suarez to the mix? No way. I mean, the footballing consensus at the time was practically unanimous. There are maybe the three best players in the world, all on the same team. This wasn't just a good attacking line. This was absolute sheer dominance. When Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, famously known as MSN, were on the pitch, they were practically unstoppable. They weren't just winning games, they were blowing elite teams to pieces and easily securing their position on top of the world. The tactical reality of this era was shockingly simple. Step 1, you just give them the ball. Step 2, they will do it. And step 3, a perfect Barcelona finale. And a really crucial takeaway here is how much Neymar thrived in this system. He wasn't just a supporting cast member. He was consistently delivering that perfect finale to become the joint leading goal scorer in the Champions League, right alongside Messi and Ronaldo. Which brings us to Section 2, National Exorcism. Achieving the impossible for Brazil. Now, to really understand Neymar, you have to understand the extreme emotional swing of Brazilian football. On one hand, you had the deep, lingering national trauma of that infamous 7-1 loss to Germany at the World Cup. But on the other, you had the desperate, burning hope of finally securing Brazil's first ever Olympic gold medal. And Neymar basically single-handedly navigated this massive emotional chasm. Picture a state-of-the-art stadium packed with over 70,000 screaming fans, setting the perfect stage on the eve of the tournament for him to confirm this historic victory. And the monumental relief of that victory honestly cannot be overstated. The commentary said it perfectly. Such delight, sheer joy. There is class now in Brazilian football once more. It essentially made an entire country forget the pure agony of the 7-1 loss. You see, the Olympic gold was literally the very last piece of silverware missing from Brazil's enormous extended trophy cabinet. And with one decisive penalty kick, Neymar delivered it. Moving on to Section 3, the brink of defeat, a devastating collapse. Suddenly, the narrative flips upside down. Critics start saying, Barcelona look old and unathletic. For a team that was previously blowing everyone to pieces, that is a staggering assessment. But in that match against PSG, Barcelona genuinely looked entirely disorganized. They looked average, like they were playing without any plan. They were completely outpaced by a younger, hungrier Paris Saint-Germain squad who just delivered an absolutely incredible, outstanding performance. So it begged a massive, looming question. Could this actually be the end of an era? Just imagine the suffocating pressure of being counted out on the global stage like that. Being down 4-0 against a younger, faster team, the odds were entirely insurmountable. Honestly, most teams would have simply folded right then and there. But they didn't. Section 4, the miracle, orchestrating La Remontada. They needed a miracle, and they got to work instantly. Minute 4, an early goal puts Barcelona in front. By the end of the first half, Iniesta forces a second goal through sheer willpower. Then Messi makes it 3. But as the clock ticks aggressively down to the end of the game, we get to the true crux of it. Neymar scores 2 unbelievably quick goals right at the end of the match. And in those frantic final seconds, it's an intense pressure cooker, a desperate stretch, and Neymar feeds the final, unbelievable pass into the penalty area to complete the impossible. Because think about the tension here. Officially, they were up 4-1 on the night.
But they were still down 4-5 on aggregate. That brutal away goal rule was chasing them down. They were staring total elimination right in the face. But exactly when that intense pressure hit its absolute peak, Neymar stepped up. He showed the world he had something really special up his sleeve exactly when it mattered most. Just listen to the sheer disbelief of the commentators in that moment. They can't contain him. He's gone through the whole lot of them. Unbelievable. He literally broke down the entire Paris Saint-Germain defense. At that point, this wasn't just a team effort anymore. This was a singular, unstoppable force of will, orchestrating the greatest Champions League knockout comeback of all time. And that leads us to our final chapter, Section 5, the resolution, stepping out of the shadow. During that legendary comeback, Neymar legitimately looked like a player operating on another planet. He had done it all at Barcelona. He'd formed the greatest attacking trio in history. But here's the reality. When you play next to Lionel Messi, you are always going to be sharing the spotlight. After putting the entire team on his back and orchestrating La Remontada, it became crystal clear that Neymar was ready to stand alone. And that realization set the stage for an absolutely shocking departure. Right after his heroic performance, highly placed sources confirmed what everyone thought was totally unthinkable. Neymar had agreed to a massive 5-year deal with the exact same team he had just single-handedly destroyed, Paris Saint-Germain. And guys, this wasn't just a normal player moving clubs. It was a stratospheric transfer fee. It was the highest level of financial compensation ever seen, finalizing world football's biggest transfer. It completely rewrote the economic reality of the entire sport literally overnight. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to wrap things up. What would you do after achieving the impossible? Seriously, once you've reached the absolute peak, exercised your national demons, and orchestrated the greatest comeback in history, how do you even find your next challenge? Well, Neymar's answer was to command the biggest transfer in world history to go and build an empire of his very own.